Everything you can imagine is real. Absolutely everything. I was born in this refugee camp in Jordan. 300,000 people crammed in one place. And in the middle of it is my family, 13 people living in a 200 square meter, 3 rooms, one for my mom and dad, one for my brother, 9 of us in 9 bunks bed. Imagine 9 teenagers living on the top of each other, absolutely no privacy. And one room where we all come at the end of the day and sit on the floor where my mom used it as kitchen. We had no secret, but it was an absolutely a great time. I went to a UN school, 45 people crammed in one small place. The best memories I have in this school was 2 things. One, when my English teacher was always talking about Shakespeare and England. And the other one was when the bell rang to end the day of the school. And I would run through the refugee camp until I come near to my mom's house and I could smell the sweet that she prepares so I could sell them through the camp in my luxury mobile shop. And I'll lend the money and I'll give it to my mom. When I come out from the refugee camp, the only compass to let me know where the camp is my senses, is the smell of the sewage. And I always imagine how England is going to smell like. So I finished school and I couldn't go to university. I had to start working as a waiter to help to keep my brother and sister at school. And then one day, somebody asked me in the restaurant if I'd been to London before, and I said, I've never been. He said, would you like to go to London? My whole life lighted up. And I said, yes. He said his brother is the Jordanian ambassador in London, and he's looking for somebody to work in his house, to clean, and become the butler. So here is I, the butler. I lost my hair. It's all in my chest. I worked with the Jordanian ambassador for 9 months. When I enter Heathrow, I had that smell and it reminded me of home. So I was more relaxed. And I went off to this really exclusive, beautiful place in London, Belgravia Place, into the mansion. The corridor of the house is bigger than where I used to live. So 9 months with the ambassador, and I start getting really stressed. I couldn't learn any English. The only way to learn English is to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning every day to watch Sesame Street. And I got sick of it. So I kept imagining myself to work somewhere where I could learn English. So I left the embassy and I started washing dishes for 4 years. It was the most amazing memory. And I accomplished something amazing because I started speak English. And while I was washing the dishes, I would listen to the Beatles and John Lennon, Imagine, and I could imagine myself being a general manager for a 5-star hotel. So I could travel the whole world. So one night, I'll go to the cinema, and I watched Braveheart. And I came out from the cinema really excited. I want my freedom. I want to go up. But I forgot about it. Half an hour later, go back and wash dishes. But I go back to the cinema again to see Trainspotting. And then I thought, this is exactly where I'm going to go. And this is where I moved to Scotland. I studied at Queen Margaret University, 4 years doing international hospitality and tourist management. And by 2004, I became the director and food and beverage manager for a 5-star hotel. In 2004, thank you. In January 2004, I woke up from a dream. I was totally sweating. 2:30 in the morning. I went straight to the kitchen and I rolled a cigarette And then I bought my laptop. I dreamed that I was in the top of the world praying for peace. So when I Googled the highest point on Earth, and Everest came out, I have absolutely no idea where Everest was. I actually thought Everest was in the United States. So suddenly I remember this amazing man, Christopher Columbus, because he had a godly dream that he had to go and discover the new world because he had the keys of the chain. But he had some obstacle, and I have big obstacle. I mean, I'm smoking 2 buckets of cigarette a day. The only form of exercise is going to clubbing every weekend, dancing my head off for 8 hours. So no experience in mountaineering, never slept in a sleeping bag. So I remember, again, Christopher Columbus, because when I start searching more and more and more about Everest, I found out that it costs so much money. So I remember that Columbus because he prepared everything and he tried to get the fund. And he was taken down from the King of King of Portugal, King of England, and King of France. But the Queen of Spain, Queen Isabel, she sold the crown of jewels so she could fund his voyage. And this is how he discovered the new world. So I thought, this is the man I need to target, which is the King of Jordan. So went to his website, trying to search everything, all the quotes about achievement for the country, for the young people. And then I contact the Scotsman. They wrote a fantastic article about me. And then I knew that he read a magazine called Joe Magazine, which is the most famous magazine in Jordan. So I went to the guys, I begged them, and they put me on the cover of the magazine, Amen for Everest. So the guy, 6 weeks later, after the magazine came out, the Royal Palace called me. I was at the Sheraton. And he said, we need to speak to you. So I went back to Jordan, and the first question he asked me, are you a climber? I said, no. And then I knew then that he was ordered by His Majesty to call me. So they started funding my expedition. And the first time I went to the mountain is to train, and I start reading absolutely everything about mountaineering. And I found out about something called the Seventh Summit. So I thought, rather than just train like this, why not climb the highest point in each continent and pray for peace in these summits? And this is what I did. I went to Denali in June 2004, 2 months after I got my fund, and I climbed the highest point in North America, then the highest point in Africa, then the highest point in Europe, and the highest point in Antarctica, and then the highest point in South America. I came to Everest in 2005 for the first try, and I did not make it. I had a bleeding ulcer, I had to come down. In 2007, I came back again, and I also had a chest infection, and I have to come down. 2008, this is where was third time lucky. I stayed for 72 days, climbing all these ladders, coming near the South Summit, and the only 2 things that I was carrying is the Jordanian flag and the dream that I have 4 years ago. So I decided to stay 72 days in the mountain so I could be in the top of Everest in Jordan Independence Day. And me and my Sherpa sat for 45 minutes, chilling out in the top of the world like anybody do. And I got my phone, satellite phone. I talked to His Majesty. It was 3:50 a.m. in Jordan. And I told him, Happy Jordan Independence Day. So I came back, and then I was knighted by the Independence Medal. And then Joe Magazine now put me for real again in the cover of the magazine. So when I came back, I visited a cancer hospital in Jordan. And I was doing some talks for the children. The nurse came to me and said, there is one child who cannot come out because her immune system is very low. So I went to her room, I took my computer, and she asked me so many questions, and she said, how long did you stay in the tub? I said, 45 minutes. And she said, I am staying in the tub of my pain in the past 6 months. She asked me this really very amazing question about what robe I'm using and how this is the robe that keep your life alive. I said, yes. She said, well, we need people like you to keep us alive. And it did completely broke my heart and made everything that I did absolutely mean nothing. So I started an initiative called From the Lowest to the Highest for Cancer. And I took 2 teams from Jordan, celebrities, and we fundraised $2 million for that hospital where the girl was. And then I started climbing for cause. So I went and did about 10 climbs for Gaza, for education, for refugees, and fundraised about $4.2 million for charity. And this is what I do now. And also, I had a call from a guy called Suhail Nashash with the green jacket, and he said he dreamt that he climbed the highest point in Africa. He's totally blind. So I took him up, and he climbed the highest point in Africa, and the other guy, an amputee as well, who climbed the highest point in Africa. So in 2014, I decided to go and do the North Pole. Now, I've never skied in my whole life. I don't know how to ski. And I think the problem I have very long legs, and I keep falling over. So I went to France, learned how to ski, and then I skied the North Pole. A year after, I skied the South Pole. 56 days that I stayed in the South Pole. And to pay Scotland back, I thought I had to wear my kilt. Real Scots. So I had a baby after that. But it was absolutely an amazing achievement that I really wanted to do this, what they call the Grand Slam of Explorer. So I become one of 15 people in the whole world to do that. And then just last month, I skied the new route from the north to the south of Greenland. And next year, I had a call from one of these girls who wanted to climb Everest. She dreamed that she wanted to climb Everest. And I got not just one girl, 5 girls from Jordan to climb Everest for women empowerment. And then next year, at the end of next year, after Everest, I'm going to do the 7 marathon in 7 continents in 7 days. That will be my new challenge. And then 2020, I will be going to space. So, thank you. So, but you know what I imagine myself to do after I go to space is to come down and open a small sweet shop so I could sell great coffee, great sandwiches, and great cupcakes. That's what I imagine to do and be around my kids. But I actually, what I did, I wrote the last time, because there's so much to tell you. There's so much I want to tell you. So I thought I'll write it down and share with you my whole experience. So, whatever you do, wherever you go, and whatever you dream, if no one has ever been before, people will always question it. You will hear all about the things that you cannot do. And they are very good reasons that people will give you. Some are reasonable, and some are even quite profound. But I can tell you about all the deaths that I have died in theory when people predicted what's going to happen to me when I climbed the first summit to the other and other. But are they absolutely right? Yes. They are right. But are dreams rationals? Absolutely not, because I still did what I did. And I did it. Why? Because my heart, my inner soul led me to do it. I never questioned it for one single second. That's how I did it. And it wasn't about reaching the target, it was always about the journey. Because if it was about the target, I would be done after I finished the first summit. But I realized right then that it was a lifelong journey. So the moment you discover the power of your journey, then you will know exactly what you're going to do, and you're going to set a new goals and a new dreams and achieve things that is going to be bigger and bigger. And you will always have inner voices in your head to tell you, oh, this is not going to happen. You're going to kill yourself. What you're doing. And if you have a mother like mine, she will tell you, stop this, you idiot. Go home and have more children. So, but your gut is the one who will keep you going and going and going. This is the center. You close your eyes and look inside here. Because I would rather die and not have a new dreams and a new target in my life. Because the only things that make sense to me is to dream. Because I could read the language of dreams. Because I understand how I achieve these dreams, because I understand it, because I have faith. And I have faith in myself. And I have faith and I believe in myself. Because when you believe an idea in your head, and you believe in it so much, everyone around you will believe in it. If you have some single doubt, nobody will believe on it. I'm here to tell you that when you allow your inner self, your soul, your gut to decide what you're going to do next, great things will happen because you're going to feel absolutely alive. Because you see, every one of us have an Everest in our life. Every one of you have an Everest. It could be absolutely anything. It's not just a mountain. So you need to find out exactly what excites you, what your passion is, what's move, let your heart skip a beat. And the only things you need to do is always quiet down all these rational voices that in your head, and you could achieve absolutely anything. Thank you.